We're here with Mark Kriegel, and he is on the NFL Network. I'd like to tell him this and the entire listening audience. Thanks to French Quarter's guest apartments for being our New York City hotel. Let them be your headquarters in New York City. Go to FrenchQuartersNY.com to book your next day. That's FrenchQuartersNY.com to book your next day.
Mark's on a great show, NFL.
Absolutely.
I watch that show every chance I get.
He's the heart of it. And we appreciate him coming here because you said the hours that you're working this week are a little more doable.
I'm like barely working this week.
Oh, yeah?
I told him to clear out the week. I had to do Artie's show.
Well, we appreciate it.
I had to have an audience with John.
Yeah.
Andre the Giant.
How's that going?
They said, we understand.
Well, you have to go, like what, be in, when you're in L.A., you have to be at the office at midnight?
In L.A., I'm in the office about 11:30 midnight. Last year was crazier because we would do debating segments every hour.
Yeah.
So we had to cook those up.
Jeez. But so you're in at midnight, you start filming at 3 a.m.
We're on the air at 3 a.m.
And what time do you end up going to bed?
It's weird. It depends if my kid's coming home if I have my kid that day.
Uh-huh. All right. On the average, how much do you sleep a day?
4 or 5 hours.
During the day. I mean, you're sleeping day, right?
Yeah, I got the blackout shades.
Wow. Yeah, wow. There's a guy right now working the overtime shift in 2 Degree Weather, repairing the LIE so it's safe for people to drive on for the morning commute tomorrow. Let's go see if he sympathizes with your work week, Kriegel. Let's go see if he goes, wow, as he's got the jackhammer, they are overworking that poor market. What about that Kriegel guy? I mean, get over it. You know, but you're good at what you do.
I'm over it. John brought it up.
Are you working on another book right now? Like, you just put out another book. How long before? How many books have you written now?
4.
Okay, now, are you eyeing another subject?
No.
Or you have no, how does that happen? You're going to wait for something to hit you? Would you like to write a novel?
Artie.
Any ideas for a novel?
I did a bad novel.
You did, that's right. You told me that.
And it cured me of any ambition to
You never want to try
fiction.
again?
I don't have it. I don't have it in me.
Was it bad in your eyes?
What was your novel about?
Was it bad in your eyes? Yeah.
Well, when I wrote it,
I mean,
it was absolutely brilliant in my eyes.
Yeah.
Really?
But now
I was 29 years old. I was a schmuck.
Right.
I didn't know anything about good. It's about 2/3 too long.
Well, what is it? What happens?
It was the idea. It was a father-son gangster story. It takes place in the village, a few blocks from here. It takes place basically on Carmine Street.
Right.
But
right here.
But it started. I used to play ball at Our Lady of Pompeii on Carmine Street. So
where they shot Raging Bull?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That pool is in
With
there.
the pool, yeah.
The one we walk up. You like that car?
You like that car? Want to take a ride in that car?
Exactly. But it started with I covered. Sammy the Bull was on a witness stand.
Right.
Who ratted out Gotti.
92.
92, correct, 92.
92, yeah.
I write the column, and I get a call from a guy at the time was like my best friend, Teddy Atlas.
Yeah.
One of the great trainers in the world, trained Tyson. And he goes, I should have known. I shouldn't have done it. I go, who are you talking about? Sammy. And he starts on this whole almost theological explanation of Sammy.
Done what?
I go, what? I go, Sammy who? He goes, Gravano. And it turns out he had trained Sammy in Gleason's.
Wow.
And Sammy's whole thing was, he thought he was a fighter. He wanted to be a tough guy. But it wasn't really about being a tough guy. It was about having everyone else see him as a tough guy, which is what bullies do. So he goes, and the worst thing I did was put his kid in the ring. And the kid was like 16
Sammy's kid?
Sammy's kid.
Okay.
The kid was like, 16 years old. He wanted to get laid or whatever you do when you're 16. And he didn't want to be in the ring. But Teddy tried to get him some experience in the ring. So I wrote the story. I was at the Post. And Pete Hamill was the editor at the time. And I write this column about Teddy Atlas, Sammy Gravano, and Sammy's kid. And when I'm finished with it, both the Hamill brothers, Dennis and Pete, said, you ought to turn that into a novel. And I turned a great story into a completely mediocre, overwritten novel.
Now, listen, if the Hamill brothers two of the best writers, to come out of New York ever, tell you to do something like that. Obviously, that's advice you take. In hindsight, was that bad advice, or you just executed it wrong?
No, it was great advice. If I stayed with fiction, I could have been an adequate novelist. But it's the kind of thing, when I don't know, maybe it's like this if you're a comedian. You do something when you're 27, 28, 29 years old. You think you're the first guy who ever did this, and you're really smart.
Right.
Oh, wow, how cool am I? And you look at it, some years later, you want to throw up. That's basically the case.
Did you let Pete Hamill read it?
Yes, he blurbed it.
He did. Okay. I tell you, when you get that kind of advice from a guy like that, and when he reads it and he likes it, what are you going to do?
The blurbs are a lot better than the book. I got blurbs from Pete, Vincent Patrick, the Pope of Greenwich Village,
right,
and Richard Price, who's one of my favorite. Right. The guy did Clockers and remember the Wanderers.
The Clockers, the Spike Lee movie. He didn't Spike
Clocker,
Lee do that?
Yeah.
That
do you remember the Wanderers?
That was a book. Oh, the Wanderers is a book I never read, but I know the movie.
But the movie's great too, because when I was your age, I used to bang them out like they were going out of style, but I never did it with anyone's daughter.
Oh, what happens to him at the end of that movie, man? Oh God,
that's Richard Price's
and it's got
first
one
novel.
of the best. Is the same ending as the movie in the book, where he's walking through the village and he sees that girl he knows listening to Dylan? Because at the end of the Wanderers,
it might be. I don't remember.
She's walking through the village. He sees he's still got the old 50s greased back hair and the gang, and the times are changing. And he walks by a cafe in a village and sees the chick who's sort of enlightened from his class listening to Dylan sing "The Times They Are Changing."
I don't remember the last. I don't remember the end of the book.
Oh, okay.
He did a novel called Blood Brothers.
Right.
I mean, it's great.
But Pete Hamill wrote one of my favorite books ever. A Drinking Life is one of my favorite books. It is.
I remember when he wrote it.
Yeah, that came out with the late 80s, mid 80s.
No. Early 90s, about the same time that I did this column.
Right.
About the same time, and I think that probably sold more than all of his.
Let me ask you: did Pete Hamill like the novel?
Yes.
Then I'd write another one. Who cares?
And he was my rabbi at the time. I just emailed with him.
That's
He's
hilarious.
in Spain.
Yeah, I mean, if he liked it, I'd write another one.
But here's the thing: I wouldn't have been stupid enough to do it if Pete didn't say, you ought to think about doing this.
Of course, right? That's what made you do it. Yeah.
But I look at it today; it makes me sick.
God,
which is
hard.
not
That's hard as a writer,
case, Not the case for the nonfiction books.
Yeah.
For the biography.
Look, there's a lot of work I've done as a comedian. I look back and it makes me sick. That's for damn sure. And a lot of it's the better stuff.
Right.
It's hard, man. It's the worst looking back and thinking.
I was just at a fight in Brooklyn. Someone said, I read Bless Me Father. I really like it. I said, I wish I had. You know who really loves the book though, is Nick Turturro.
Oh, okay.
And he's still trying to get it made.
Does he want to get it made? Yeah, sure.
Is your
favorite?
We had this. We had this thing.
I know Nicky a little.
I know.
Yeah,
so Nick killed himself to get this thing done, and we had it cast. We had Burt Young. Right.
Can't go wrong with that.
I knew Burt Young. I knew from Drinking in the Lanes.
Yeah.
We had Big Pussy, Little Pussy, Medium Pussy. Everybody from The Sopranos.
Right.
Ada Turturro. He put everything he had into casting this thing.
Wow.
And it was great. He gets to New York, and he was doing NYPD Blue at the time. He gets to New York, and the day before, I got a friend of mine from high school helps do the script. The day before we're shooting, he goes, "Hey, Mark," and he's got this whole thing cast. The guy, Bronx Tale guy, he was in it.
Chaz Palminteri?
I mean, it was extraordinary.
Right.
And this is the mid-'90s now, so everyone's really hot.
It's a major project.
Right. He goes, "Hey, Mark, what is this, this thing they say, I got to get a bond?" I don't know.
Oh.
He goes, they're saying to shoot in New York, I got to get a bond. What is this, a bond thing? Can I get a bond? How do you get a bond? That was the end of that.
Yeah, talk about questions that.
I'm sorry, Nick, but I love you. He's a great, dedicated Yankee fan. As
He
you
is.
are.
No, Nick's intense, man.
He's a great actor. He's going to direct this.
He was.
And it started out, he was going to play the 16-year-old sweet kid, and now he's old enough to play the old man, the Sammy,
Right.
Sammy the Bull, Gavone
Times
character.
go by.
Right.
time goes by so quick, man. You think about that. But listen, I don't know. It's fascinating to me, that whole world of writers. And, and again, I'm a big fan of Pete Hamill. And to me, if he likes the book, write another one. The problem is getting your favorite sport's boxing, right? That's what you like the most.
I just came from Brooklyn.
Right.
I saw a couple of perfectly
I want
good,
to
mediocre
You mentioned
fights.
the Lanes. I want to ask you. We got to take a break. If you've been to the writers' room yet, the new one. Where Lane's was, they have a new place.
Called the writers' room.
It's called the writers' room.
I ain't
or the
going.
writer's friend or something.
I'm not going there.
You're not going there.
No.
All right. The Artie Lange. Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Talking with Mark Kriegel from NFL AM on the NFL Network. I got to mention this story. You see this front page of the Post? Giant ripoff. Supposedly Eli Manning gave fake memorabilia to a guy.
I don't
and
believe
kept
that.
the real stuff.
I don't believe that.
I mean, they got him. He's the cover
chuckled
boy
about
for
that.
it.
Peyton heard about it today and chuckled about it.
New York.
No, that was Archie, I think.
They're saying that
It's a massive accusation.
people wanted game used stuff.
Yeah.
That Eli wanted to keep it for himself. That one of these things is actually enshrined
It's
somewhere
fraud.
at the Hall of Fame.
It's fraud on the New York Giants
So
execs.
he would take his game worn stuff, keep it, and then have the equipment guys like scuff up other jerseys,
Right.
backup jerseys and stuff. And then he would say that he wore that in the Super Bowl.
See, I don't have. I know this is terrible. I don't have much sympathy for like the memorabilia whores.
Yeah, me neither.
I just think that there's some like.
Okay, there's that argument, but still, it doesn't change the fact
No, it
that's
doesn't.
separate.
I don't know if it's true or not.
And what he did, if he did do this, that's a separate issue, whether you care about it or not. I mean, he's the cover boy for it. This is front page of the Post today. New York Giants
Well, that makes it
execs.
true.
New York Giants execs and quarterback Eli Manning passed off bogus team memorabilia as the real thing to fool collectors and allow the superstar to hang on to the keepsakes. A lawsuit charges. The dozens of items allegedly include jerseys and Manning's 2008 Super Bowl helmet, which is on display at the Hall of Fame. That's pretty bad, man, if it's true. I mean, I know you say these guys are
I'm
pains in the asses, but,
People are coming forward and saying, "Hey, wait a second. My game-worn 2008 jersey doesn't look like it's scuffed the same way his jersey was in this
Right.
picture from 2008."
But it's the same.
That's what
it's
they're
the
based
same
on.
type. It's the same type of hustle with the autographs.
Yeah.
Why
Well-
do you put so much value in? I don't know. It's a different
I feel the
question.
same
but it's
way.
like,
I feel the same way.
what do you want for like Will Chamberlain's jockstrap when he scored 100 points? What would that sell for?
It's worth whatever someone will pay for.
I understand
Yeah,
that.
but if you were still a reporter and you uncover this, what do you don't
Well,
care about this story?
if I uncovered it, if I had an exclusive on the lawsuit,
Right.
I'd be saying it's the greatest story in the world. It should be on the front page.
That's what I mean. So that's what they're doing here. I mean, it's an NFL.
No, it's a good story. It's in
bombshell.
court papers. It is a bombshell. But also, I mean, it says something about the legion of autograph and memorabilia whores.
There's a lot of them, and it's sickening.
And with like, so you think that owning this is going to make you like it's going to improve your station in life? You're going to be cool?
Some people think that.
I think a guy like Eli, I mean, I can just imagine how he gets accosted by people all the time, gets sick of it, and this would be
But this is a hustle,
very-
though.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
but the
listen,
accusation is like-
he's saying I'm just sticking to all these people who are bugging me all the time for this stuff. I'm going to keep it for myself.
Right.
We're going to sell this and make all kinds of money. Maybe we're donating it or whatever. But I can totally see this happening.
When you win, yeah, I agree with you.
But the problem
Wait.
is Eli has this image where he's the good guy who's just down to earth, and this is him.
Right.
Well,
Putting
does he
it
have
to,
it
this
in
is
his
him putting
den
it
or
to the
something?
everyman
Huh?
and saying, ha ha.
Is it hanging in his den, the shirt, or the
I
jacket?
know, but it's like- it's like, what do you do with it?
Wait.
Hey,
There's
dude,
a-
it's
there's
cool
a-
to keep. If you have your jersey from the Super Bowl, I mean, that's nice.
But here's the
have.
thing: it's like the steroids. The middlemen become the guys in the clubhouse, so that's where the gray area is. It's like the
Yes.
the conduit between the player and the outside world is these like murky guys in the clubhouse. That's I'm not saying that the guys in the Giants did or didn't do anything, but what I am saying is, where do sweatbands go?
Well, exactly. Well, here's
in
the
the
thing.
pile.
When a story like this happens, what does it start? The avalanche now, to me, I'd start investigating everybody else and maybe Like John says, maybe it could be a common thing. That's not surprising. If this doesn't surprise you, maybe it's happened.
If
quite
there's
a
a
bit.
market for like used sweatbands, right? Which I'm sure there is.
If it's from a certain guy, yeah.
Yeah, and if you're an equipment guy and you really don't get paid a whole heck of a lot, an assistant equipment guy, I mean, and you
But
can
that's not
sell
the
this
story.
stuff.
And if
But
the
that's
ball
not the
players
story.
aren't tipping you out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's not the story.
I
It's
understand that.
this guy, the Manning story.
I understand. I don't have. I don't know. I don't have an answer. All I know is if you're
Kriegel, I've never seen you back down before in my life.
If you're buying used sweatbands,
Yeah.
you got deeper
You're a
problems.
joke.
You got some deep.
Kriegel, somebody got to you. That's the real story. Somebody got to Mark Kriegel. Andre the Giant, your thoughts on this?
You know, I don't know. The stuff is hanging in his locker.
Have you ever done this?
Look at this.
Have you ever sold one of your
A unitard?
enormous unitards?
Yeah.
I was wrestling the Great Kamala, and I beat him, and someone wanted one of my boots.
Yeah.
Your size 35 boot.
I could see someone
Blue.
paying. I could see someone paying for that.
I could see someone using it as a canoe.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was this big, really.
I'm sorry,
You're
Andre.
saying you've done that?
I did not.
Because you're breaking my heart.
I gave the responsibility to Bob Backlund.
First mistake.
I'm taking off. Bob's like, you go. I'll take care of it.
And what happens? He stabs you right in the back.
Oh, it was
in the
right
Bob
back.
Backlund.
Right in the Bob Backlund.
That is terrible.
Oh, my.
That is terrible. Have you learned anything from this?
Yeah, I learned how to drink. And drink a lot.
Did you hit the bottle because of the scandal?
No. I was born with the bottle. I love the red wine. Nice Cabernet Sauvignon.
Well, you're a Frenchman. A lot of people think you might guzzle beer because of how big you are and disgusting.
Your drinking, the stories are legendary,
Yeah.
Andre.
Yes, Dusty Rhodes and I stole a Hansom cab in Central Park.
And made it ugly.
Yes, absolutely.
And what did you do? You went out drinking with the cab?
Well, one of the horses died, and we ran.
Did you eat the horse?
I absolutely did.
One of the horses died, and you ate the horse.
I was drunk. It was crazy.
When you're drunk and there's a dead horse,
Dusty, go get me some mustard.
is that what you
Just
like
raw,
on dead
sushi
horse?
style.
I like Golden's.
Golden's?
Oh, so good.
Golden's brown mustard on a dead horse.
Why not
ketchup.
gray poupon?
Well.
Speaking of dead horses, we're beating one right now with this book. The Artie Lange. Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. I'm here with the great Mark Kriegel. We only got a few minutes left, so give us a prediction. Can you give us a solid prediction?
24-21, Denver.
I like that. I'm in that mode. I think it might be by a few more points and maybe a little higher, maybe 28-17, 28-20.
But I do think that the key variable is Marshawn. Marshawn goes over 100. Seattle keep him under 100.
John seems to agree with that. I think so. I mean, I think
Yeah.
it's a good point.
You know,
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it did. If they run the ball well, I think it is going to. Man, that's a great prediction right there. 24-21.
Ben Lyons was
Denver.
here before and said that he thinks one of the prop bets is under over for Lynch, 88.5 rushing yards. So, and I think I'm of the ilk. If he gets over 88.5 rushing yards, I think they could still lose the game to Denver. I think 100 yards doesn't guarantee. Because 100 yards, you'd say, okay, they got the running and the D.
Well, if he's got
88
88.5 and that's all they've got, then yeah, I think they
Right.
could still lose that game.
Right, but I think
Andre, you know
people
what this
take
is
that
about,
as an
right?
indication.
You know what's
that's
really
wrong.
going on here?
What's that?
Artie's trying to get me to talk about the over and under, knowing that once I do, the NFL is going to turn me into a pillar of salt.
I
right
did
before
not
you're
know
out.
that. No, I did not. I wasn't going for that because I
Very
know
biblical.
that you work for the dream system, the scary sort of monster that is the NFL and their network, and you are gambling's
I'm like
a
the
no-no.
token subversive there.
Gambling's a no-no.
Not that I gamble.
I know you don't. But you're a guy that a lot of degenerate gamblers would look up to make some money,
Yeah.
and the NFL wants no part of it.
The inside scoop.
They want no part of that.
I'm going to say 27-24. I'm going to kind of piggyback off of Mark
Okay.
and say 27-24 Denver.
Boschetti, do you know? Give us the two teams in the game.
I don't know. It's the Seahawks and the Broncos, Denver. I I don't know. I don't really. I'm crying over my Jets for 20 years. I want them to
crying.
play.
Mike.
Yeah, that's,
Nobody
crying, Mike.
cares, Mike, about the Jets. Give us a.
yeah,
You're
this is-
sitting on a sports show. Give us a prediction.
I'm going to say
I'm
Seattle
20. I like 28-17 Denver.
Seattle what?
Seahawks.
No, but
you like them?
Yeah, I think they're going to take it.
By
Hey.
how much?
Maybe 4 points.
Could you name 2 players from the Seahawks?
I think we have a few seconds left before we.
Can you name 2 players from your favorite team, the Jets?
Oh yeah. Let me see. Joe Namath.
No, current players.
Oh, okay.
Joe Namath?
Let me say no. Not me. No. Wait.
Joe Namath?
Suzy Kopler.
You don't know anybody on the Jets?
Currently, no.
What a jerk.
Well, it's just but it's just a traditional thing, Art. It's like
Mark, he's announcer on a sports show for the last 2 years. He
I
doesn't know,
fudged it.
he doesn't know anybody on the Jets.
No, but yeah.
You don't know
His
one
favorite
Jet.
team. His
I
favorite
don't-
team that he's lamenting.
I know Andre the Giant.
Andre, your favorite Jets. Your 2 favorite Jets.
Lisa Leslie and Cynthia Holtzclaw.
Try arguing
It's
with
Shamiqua
that.
Holtzclaw.
Oh, thank you.
Shamiqua.
Yes.
Tom Arnold, thank you so much. He's a good man. Look
Yeah,
for him in the
great.
Celebrity Beach Bowl
My teammate.
Saturday. Ben Lyons, another good man. Ben's look for him. I am Ben Lyons, and of course Mark Kriegel. Thanks, buddy.
My pleasure.
You're always great.
My pleasure.
Back tomorrow for the last day, and then we got the Beach Bowl and the game.
I'm going to be at that beach ball.
Come by, fun weekend. Take care, brush your hair.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.